My fiancée said, "My friends think you're not impressive enough for me. I should aim higher." I replied, "Then go ahead." That same day, I canceled the venue, the ring, everything, quietly. 2 weeks later, at 2 a.m., her closest friend called me crying. "Please pick up. Something happened at the bachelorette party, and it's about you." I'm Nathan, 34, and 3 weeks ago I was engaged to a woman who apparently thought I wasn't good enough for her social circle. The relationship ended in the most bizarre way possible, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'd been with Amy for 4 years, engaged for 6 months. We met through work. She was in PR. I did project management for a mid-sized construction firm. Nothing glamorous, but stable and well-paying. We had what I thought was a solid relationship. We traveled together, had the same sense of humor, talked about having kids someday. Her friends always seemed nice enough when we hung out, though I noticed they had a tendency to talk about money and status more than I was comfortable with. The breaking point came on a Wednesday evening 3 weeks ago. We were at her apartment having dinner. I'd picked up Thai food on my way over, and she seemed distracted, kept checking her phone, giving short answers to my questions. Finally, I asked what was wrong. "I had lunch with the girls today," she said, not looking up from her pad. "Thai, okay. How was it?" "They were asking about the wedding, about you." Something in her tone made me set down my fork. "What about me?" She sighed like I was making this difficult. "They were just asking questions. What you do, what your family's like, what kind of life we're going to have." And honestly, Nathan, they think I could do better, that I'm settling. I sat there for a second, processing that. "Your friends think you're settling by marrying me." They didn't say it like that exactly. They just think you're not as ambitious as you could be, that I should aim higher. And the more I think about it, maybe they have a point. A point about what? About whether we're really compatible long term. I mean, you're happy with where you are career-wise, but I want more. I want to travel first class, live in a nice neighborhood, send our kids to private schools. Can you provide that? I felt something cold settle in my chest. "I make good money, Amy. We've talked about our future. You've never said any of this was a problem before." "I know, but talking to the girls made me realize I've been, I don't know, not thinking big enough. They think I should be with someone more impressive, someone who makes them jealous, not someone who makes them ask, 'But what does he do exactly?' So your friends don't think I'm impressive enough, and now you agree with them." "I'm just being honest about my concerns." I nodded slowly. "Okay. Then go ahead and aim higher." She looked surprised. "What?" "If you think you can do better than me, go ahead and try. I'm not going to sit here and audition to be good enough for you or your friends. Either you want to marry me or you don't." "Nathan, don't be dramatic." "I'm not being dramatic. I'm being clear. You just told me I'm not impressive enough. You think you're settling. So don't settle. We're done." "Wait, you're breaking up with me over this?" "I'm trying to have an honest conversation." "No, you're telling me I'm not good enough while expecting me to somehow convince you otherwise. I'm not doing that. You can have the ring back tomorrow. I'll drop it off." I left, drove to my apartment and sat on my couch for about 2 hours in the dark, just processing what happened. Then I started making calls. First, the venue. Canceled, lost the deposit but didn't care. The caterer, canceled. The photographer, canceled. I'd paid for about 70% of the wedding expenses because Amy was saving for the honeymoon. So most vendors had my card on file. I systematically canceled everything I could that night. The next morning, I took the engagement ring, an $8,000 ring I'd saved for over a year to buy, back to the jeweler. They had a return policy within 90 days minus a restocking fee. I got about $6,500 back. Then I texted Amy, "Ring is returned. All wedding vendors I paid for are canceled. You're free to aim higher now." She called immediately. I didn't answer. She called 17 more times that day. I blocked her number. Update 1. The first week after the breakup was surreal. Amy tried to reach me through mutual friends, through social media, even showed up at my apartment once. I didn't answer the door. Our mutual friends were divided. Some thought I'd overreacted, others thought Amy had revealed her true colors and I'd dodged a bullet. What I didn't know was that Amy hadn't told anyone we'd broken up. She was still posting about wedding planning on social media, still talking to her friends about dress shopping. According to my friend Jake, who was friends with one of her bridesmaids, Amy was telling everyone I was going through something, and we were taking a short break. She wasn't accepting that the wedding was off. 2 weeks after the breakup, Amy's bachelorette party was scheduled for that weekend. I'd forgotten about it entirely until Jake mentioned it. The party was supposed to be in Nashville, a whole weekend thing with her 6 closest friends. I figured she'd cancel it once reality set in, but apparently she went through with it. At 2:47 a.m. on the Saturday night of her bachelorette party, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello? Nathan? It's Jessica. Amy's maid of honor, crying so hard I could barely understand her. Jessica, what's wrong? I need to tell you something I can't. We can't let Amy do this to you. Oh my God, I feel so sick. Slow down. What are you talking about? The bachelorette party. We're in Nashville. Amy's been drinking all night and she told us everything. About why you broke up. About what she said to you. Okay? She told us her plan, Nathan. She's not accepting the breakup. She thinks if she just continues planning the wedding and shows up at the venue on the wedding date, you'll go through with it because you won't want to embarrass her in front of everyone. I sat up in bed. What? She rebooked everything. The venue, the caterer, everything you canceled. She's been using her credit cards and her parents' money. She told us tonight that she knows you were just upset and that on the actual wedding day, you'll show up because you love her. She said she's not letting you throw away what you have over one stupid comment. Jessica, we broke up. I told her we were done. I know, that's why I'm calling. She's delusional, Nathan. She thinks if she just pretends everything is fine, it will be. And her friends, these girls here, they're encouraging her. They keep saying you'll come around, that all guys get cold feet, that she just needs to be persistent. Where is Amy now? Passed out in the hotel room. But before she passed out, she said something else, something that made me physically ill. What? Jessica was crying harder now. She said if you don't show up to the wedding, she'll tell everyone you abused her, that she'll make up a story about why the wedding was canceled that makes you look like a monster. She said her friends will back her up, that no one will believe your side because she's more likable. I felt ice water in my veins. She said that? Yes, I swear to God, Nathan, I heard her say it. We all did. And most of these girls laughed like it was a joke. But I know Amy. She'll do it. She's so obsessed with not looking bad that she'll destroy your reputation to save face. Why are you telling me this? Because it's insane. You're a good guy. You didn't deserve what she said to you, and you definitely don't deserve this. I told Amy I thought she was wrong about you not being impressive enough. I told her she was being shallow and stupid, but she wouldn't listen. And now she's planning to either trap you into a wedding or ruin your life if you don't comply. I was quiet for a long moment. Are the other bridesmaids there with you? Yeah, most of them are asleep or drunk. But Melissa heard everything too. She's here with me. We both think you need to know. Can you record Amy saying this stuff, or get any of it in writing? I can try. She has our group text where she's been talking about the wedding like it's still happening. I can screenshot that. Do it. Send me everything. And Jessica, thank you for calling. I know that wasn't easy. After we hung up, I sat in bed staring at the ceiling trying to figure out what to do. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed with screenshots. Amy's messages to her bridesmaids were unhinged. Nathan will come around. He's just being stubborn. He'll show up on the day because he won't want to humiliate me. And finally, If he doesn't show up, I'll just tell everyone he was controlling and I called it off. No one will blame me. Update 2. Sunday morning, I called a lawyer, explained the situation, showed him the screenshots Jessica had sent. He said while Amy hadn't technically done anything illegal yet, her threat to falsely accuse me of abuse could be considered defamation if she followed through. He advised me to document everything and prepare for the worst. I also called Amy's parents. Her dad picked up. "Mr. Patterson, it's Nathan. I need to talk to you about something serious." "Nathan, Amy said you two were working through some issues. Everything okay?" "No, sir. Everything is not okay. Amy and I broke up 3 weeks ago. I canceled our wedding, but apparently, she's been telling people we're still together, and she's rebooked everything." There was a long silence. "She said you were taking a break." "We're not taking a break. We're broken up. She told me I wasn't impressive enough for her and her friends. When I ended things, she refused to accept it. Now she's in Nashville telling her bridesmaids that if I don't show up to a wedding I didn't agree to, she'll falsely claim I abused her." Nathan, that's a serious accusation. I have proof. Her maid of honor called me last night. I have screenshots of Amy's messages. She's planning to either force me into this wedding or destroy my reputation. I wanted you to hear this from me before it escalates. Mr. Patterson asked me to send him the screenshots. I did. He said he'd call me back. He called back 2 hours later. I talked to Amy. She's not in a good place, Nathan. She admitted she's been in denial about the breakup. She swears she wouldn't actually make false accusations, that she was drunk and talking nonsense. With all due respect, sir, drunk words are sober thoughts. I can't trust that she won't go through with it. I understand. I'm going to get her home from Nashville today, and we're going to have a family conversation. I'm also going to make sure the wedding vendors are contacted and everything is definitively canceled. You have my word. Thank you. Nathan, for what it's worth, I think Amy made a terrible mistake. You've always been good to her. I'm sorry it ended this way. Update 3. Amy's parents did cancel everything and apparently staged some kind of intervention. Jessica texted me updates over the next few days. Amy was forced to tell her friends the truth, that we were broken up, that she'd sabotaged the relationship by telling me I wasn't good enough, and that her plan to wait me out had failed spectacularly. The friend group imploded. Jessica and Melissa both distanced themselves from Amy, disgusted by her behavior. The other bridesmaids apparently felt deceived and embarrassed that they'd been helping plan a wedding that wasn't happening. Amy's reputation in her social circle took a massive hit. 4 days after the Nashville incident, Amy sent me a long email. It was partly apologetic, partly defensive, and included a lot of excuses about how she'd been confused and influenced by the wrong people. She claimed she never would have actually accused me of abuse, that it was just drunk talk. She asked if we could meet for coffee to get closure. I didn't respond. A week later, I heard through Jake that Amy had started therapy. Her parents had apparently made it a condition of continuing to support her financially. I was glad she was getting help, but it wasn't my problem anymore. The weirdest part of all this was how many people reached out to tell me I'd done the right thing. Friends I hadn't talked to in years, even Amy's cousin, who I'd met maybe twice, sent messages saying they'd always thought Amy was too focused on appearances and status. It was validating, but also made me wonder how many people had been thinking that while we were together. Final update. It's been 2 months since the breakup. I'm doing well, all things considered. I've been focusing on work, started going to the gym more consistently, and reconnected with some friends I'd neglected during the relationship. Jessica and I have stayed in touch, just as friends. She feels guilty about not speaking up sooner about Amy's behavior. I told her she doesn't need to feel guilty. She called me when it mattered most. Amy moved to a different city about 3 weeks ago, got a job transfer according to Jessica. I think she was too embarrassed to stay here after everything that happened. The story got around, not because I told people, but because the bridesmaids talked, and it spread. In a city this size, that kind of drama doesn't stay quiet. I ran into one of Amy's friends from that lunch, the one who apparently started the whole "you're not impressive enough" conversation. At a coffee shop last week, she actually approached me. "Nathan, hi. Can I talk to you for a second?" "Sure. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For what I said about you to Amy, I didn't think she'd actually take it seriously, and I definitely didn't think it would blow up like this." "What exactly did you say?" She looked uncomfortable. "I asked if you were really ambitious enough for her lifestyle. It was stupid and judgmental. I was projecting my own issues onto your relationship. Amy's always been a little insecure about how she measures up, and I think I fed into that. I feel terrible." "Did you know she was planning to go through with the wedding anyway?" "No, I swear I didn't know about that until after Nashville. When I found out what she said about making false accusations, I was horrified. That's not okay." "No, it's not. For what it's worth, I think she really did love you. She just got it in her head that she needed to be with someone more flashy to prove something to people. It was never really about you." I nodded. "Thanks for apologizing. I appreciate it." She left, and I sat there with my coffee thinking about what she'd said. Amy loved me, but not enough to defend me to her friends, not enough to be proud of what we had instead of chasing some imaginary better option. That kind of love isn't enough. I'm not bitter anymore, just relieved. Relieved that I found out before the wedding. Relieved that Jessica called me that night. Relieved that I didn't waste more years with someone who saw me as a status symbol instead of a partner. The engagement ring money is sitting in a savings account. I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet. Maybe a trip somewhere I've always wanted to go. Maybe just let it sit there as a reminder that I made the right choice. Amy's parents sent me a card last week apologizing for everything and thanking me for handling it with maturity. That was unexpected, but nice. As for dating again, I'm not there yet, but I'm open to it eventually. Next time, I'll be more careful about someone's values, about whether they see me as enough, exactly as I am, without needing to be more impressive for their friends. I learned that the right person won't need to aim higher because they'll already know they hit the target.